Living on ODSP doesn't just test your finances, it tests your identity, your mental health, and your dignity. And no one talks about that part. 1. Living with dignity on ODSP. Living with dignity on ODSP is less about money alone and more about autonomy, respect, and self-worth. When income is tightly restricted, everyday choices, where to live, what to eat, how to socialize, can feel dictated by survival instead of preference. This constant pressure can quietly erode a person's sense of agency. Dignity begins with reframing. ODSP is a support system, not a moral judgment or a measure of worth. You are not less than because you need assistance. Practical dignity comes from boundaries and systems. Advocating for benefits you're entitled to, organizing paperwork, and understanding rules reduces fear and dependence on others' interpretations. Small choices, keeping a clean space, dressing with intention, eating as well as possible within limits, reinforce self-respect even when finances are tight. True dignity also means allowing yourself to want more. Wanting growth, stability, creativity, or contribution does not make you ungrateful. It makes you human. A dignified life on ODSP acknowledges present limitations while refusing to internalize them as permanent or defining. You can accept help without surrendering identity, ambition, or pride. 2. Isolation. The silent weight of ODSP. Isolation is one of the most damaging and least discussed realities of life on ODSP. Limited income restricts social activities, transportation, and even casual meetups that others take for granted. Over time, invitations stop coming, not out of malice, but misunderstanding. This creates a feedback loop. Fewer interactions lead to withdrawal, which deepens loneliness and disconnection. Isolation is especially dangerous because it often looks like doing fine. There's no visible crisis, just long stretches of silence and sameness. Days blur together. Motivation fades. Without regular social feedback, it's easy to feel invisible or forgotten. Breaking isolation doesn't require a busy social calendar, it requires intentional connection. One meaningful interaction a week can dramatically improve mental health. Online communities, support groups, libraries, walking routines, or volunteering within capacity can restore a sense of belonging. Importantly, isolation is not a personal failure. It's a structural outcome of poverty, disability, and stigma. Recognizing this shifts the narrative from shame to strategy. Connection is not a luxury, it's mental health maintenance. 3. Depression and burnout. When survival becomes exhausting. Depression and burnout on ODSP often stem from prolonged uncertainty and limited control. Constant budgeting, fear of clawbacks, medical reviews, and rising costs keep the nervous system in a chronic state of stress. Even small setbacks feel overwhelming when there's no financial buffer. Burnout isn't always about doing too much, it's often about doing everything right and still falling behind. This creates learned helplessness, the belief that effort doesn't matter. Over time, goals shrink. Hope feels risky. Depression on ODSP may not look like sadness. It often shows up as numbness, low energy, irritability, or withdrawal. The danger is normalization, when exhaustion becomes just how life is. Recovery begins with compassion, not productivity. Stabilizing sleep, nutrition, movement, and routine matters more than chasing motivation. Mental health support, formal or peer-based, should be treated as essential, not optional. Burnout is not weakness. It's a signal that systems, not individuals, are overloaded. Healing means rebuilding energy first, then capacity. 4. Identity beyond disability. One of the greatest psychological risks of ODSP is identity collapse. When life becomes reduced to diagnoses, forms, and limitations. Over time, people may unconsciously stop seeing themselves as learners, creators, workers, or contributors. Disability becomes the whole story instead of one chapter. Reclaiming identity starts by separating who you are from what you receive. ODSP is a financial status, not a personality. You are still defined by your values, interests, experiences, and character. Ask different questions. What problems do I care about? What skills do I enjoy using? What kind of person do I want to be, even within constraints? Identity grows through expression, not income. Writing, art, mentoring, fitness, learning, or advocacy can all reinforce a fuller sense of self. Language matters. Shifting from, I can't because I'm on ODSP, to, this is how I adapt, restores agency. Identity beyond disability doesn't deny limitations, it refuses to let them be the final word. 5. Building purpose in a limited system. Purpose is not reserved for careers or high productivity, it comes from contribution, growth, and meaning. On ODSP, traditional work may be limited, but purpose is still possible and necessary for mental health. Purpose can be as small as consistency, showing up for a routine, caring for a pet, helping a neighbor, or learning a new skill. These acts reinforce usefulness and direction. Without purpose, days feel empty. With it, even difficult days feel justified. The key is alignment, not intensity. Choose activities that fit energy levels and health realities. Purpose should support recovery, not drain it. Overcommitting leads back to burnout. Purpose also evolves. What matters now may not matter later, and that's okay. The goal is engagement with life, not perfection. A purposeful life on ODSP is built deliberately, one meaningful action at a time. 6. Routine, community, and quality of life. Routine is the backbone of mental health when external structure is missing. ODSP life often lacks the built-in rhythm of work or school, making days feel unanchored. Simple routines, wake times, meals, movement, learning blocks, restore predictability and safety to the nervous system. Community amplifies routine. Shared spaces, whether online or local, provide accountability and belonging. Community doesn't need to be large, just consistent and respectful. Being seen regularly reminds you that your presence matters. Quality of life improves when routine and community work together. Stability creates space for joy, hobbies, creativity, humor, and rest. These are not indulgences, they are resilience tools. A good life on ODSP is not about pretending things are fine. It's about building systems that protect mental health, preserve dignity, and allow growth despite limitations. Quality of life is something you design, not something you wait to be given.